the legendary coach, Coach Dick Vermeil. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
So, Dick, we are really getting fired up here. Now, we got to save a little bit in the holster because we still got 2 more days. But as you look toward this game, and we'll get your prediction at the end, but what encourages you that the Eagles will get this done?
Well, I think we match up real well. Our defense matches up extremely well against their offense. And as good as their offense is, our defense, statistically, even when you take just the 14 playoff teams and compare them and match them up, we match up very well on defense. Of course, we've got to keep playing like we're playing, and we have to prevent the 49ers from playing better than they have been playing. But if you just took the numbers, that's even. What we have to do is be a little better on offense. 49ers defense is not great. They're last in the league in putting pressure on the quarterback. So we should be able to throw the ball efficiently. But I think it's just a real even matchup where our strengths match against their strengths, and their so-called weakness on defense isn't as weak as people give it credit for or poor credit for. But due to the injuries, they aren't as good as they expected to be or are now. But they're still adequate. And I think our offense is stronger than their defense, and with potential to be much stronger.
Okay, so, Coach, we know that the big matchup here is the Shanahan offense, the Fangio defense. Schematically, who has the advantage there?
Well, I think we do. I think, the 49ers are going to run the ball even when they don't make yards. They'll keep running. They run the ball 29 times a ball game, regardless. But when you take what they do, rushes and pass completions, they're number one in the league. Because those are the only 2 ways you move the ball: run the ball and throw a completed pass. They average 53 snaps a game in which they move the ball. Our defense is very good at preventing. Our defense is the best pass defense in football. Yeah. You can move the ball, you can't score. Yeah, they just do it. Now, we're number one ranked in a variations of stats that people don't normally look at. Percent complete. They only allow 56% percent complete, including sacks, 52%. Opponents' TDs per pass attempt, 2.3, number one in the league. They do a real good job. So I think it's going to be the kind of game where, of course, we have the emotional edge playing at home. Yeah. Home crowd is going to help us. I think we're physically a better team on offense than they are on defense. And it's going to come down to the next theory all year: don't turn the ball over and don't get 2 or 3 bad calls from the officials.
How do we best take advantage of their ultra banged-up linebacking core with their top 3 backers out for this game?
I say this: just keep doing what you do real well. We know we can run the ball. We know we can run the ball better than we have been running the ball. We're going into the game, I think, a little healthier in the offensive line. We know our backfield is healthy. I think Nick and staff, Patullo will do a good job of putting a blended run-pass ratio into the ball game, and I think that's what's going to win the football game for us, because the defense will keep it close enough to win.
You talk about that run-pass ratio. What about the run-pass option, something that we've sort of, veered away from this season a little bit more than I thought? Do you expect to see a return to more RPOs by the Eagles offense?
I don't. Very seldom do you change your profile of what you've been doing once you get in the playoffs. Sometimes you do, and you make a mistake doing it. Now, you might run a few things you haven't run in the last few weeks, because you've been watching the 49ers play all 17 games, okay, and you've watched them against when you've played them in the past. And so there'll be some things that we do that maybe we haven't done in the last 4 or 5 weeks or haven't done all year, but we'll do because of the game planning.
So, Dick, let's talk about that. That's interesting. You mentioned profile, regular season profile to playoff profile. So if you're the head coach of the Eagles and Saquon Barkley, when healthy, which he's been the whole time, gets 20 carries, and Tank Bigsby gets 3. But Tank Bigsby's been better in many instances this year. Entering the playoffs, would you say I'm changing that ratio? Even though Saquon is Saquon, it's not going to be 20-3. It's going to be, 16-8 or whatever it would be. I mean, would you give the ball to Bigsby more, even though Saquon's a much, much bigger star?
No. How's that for an answer?
Yeah.
Get the ball to Barkley. We know what he is capable of. And the only reason you would get him fewer reps would be if he ended up getting a little tired, which he won't. He has great stamina.
Well, how do you explain Coach? How do you explain Bigsby looking better? I mean, to our eyes, on individual runs,
fresh legs.
Fresh legs is part of it, but that could be to me, he's looked better when he runs. I think he breaks more tackles and looks more elusive. I'd give the guy the ball
fresh
more.
Legs.
Yeah, you might be reflecting back to the last game when he broke a couple little runs down, wiggled outside and all that kind of. Listen, he's a fine running back. He is not Barkley, okay? He is not Barkley. Yeah.
I agree. So, Coach, what is your honest evaluation of the job Kevin Patullo has done as a play caller?
You know, everybody's mad at him. I just think we have to say this. The schedule was totally different than it was last year, okay? Mm-hmm. The offensive line stability through the season was totally different than it was last year.
True.
And I think every team that faced us this year faced a Super Bowl winning team that was just maybe one of the finest football teams that ever played in the league to win a Super Bowl. And so I think that was all a real tough act to follow in handling that. And I think you grow in that position. You grow in that position and calling the plays and putting the game plan together and deciding what you do. But remember, we have the same line coach. You know, our line coach is a Hall of Fame line coach, right? He hasn't lost his ability to coach.
Yeah.
So and he's involved in the game plans and running and everything. I just think it just was just tougher than hell for him. And I second guess some of the decisions they make during the ball game, but hell, I second guess my wife. Okay. I'm not critical of him because I've been there and done it, and I know how tough it is, especially today.
Yeah. Is it a good thing for the Eagles or a bad thing for the Eagles that the 49ers offense was just held to 3 points by the Seahawks last Saturday night? You know, when I say a bad thing, is it going to come back and bite them because the 49ers are going to work that much harder to prevent that from happening again? Or is it just the fact that their offense can be gotten to by a good defense?
I think their offense can be gotten to, as you said, by a great defense. And our defense is a very fine defense, very fine defense. As is the Seahawks. I haven't seen the Seahawks much this year, so I don't have a strong opinion on them. That game last week changed my opinion of them. Believe me, they've done a wonderful job both offensively and defensively. Hell, they take a quarterback, but nobody wanted. And he's done a wonderful job. So it's a combination of great coaching and getting the most, and a good offseason acquisitions, a good draft, all those kinds, and then regaining momentum, and confidence through the entire team. But the 49ers are a fine football team. They're not as good as they would be if they hadn't lost players. Our offensive line is not as good as it would have been if it had been healthy all year. Yeah. So all those factors enter into it.
So, Coach, it sounds like – I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We're a better football team there, okay? As we play Sunday, we are a better football team than the 49ers.
Well, it sounds like with your prediction, let's crank that prediction up. It sounds like the prediction is going to be an Eagles win. Coach Vermeil's official prediction.
The computer says Philadelphia win by 6. Okay.
Holy cow!
And they've been the computer picking the winner's been 70% complete all year.
Nice.
Not the pace, not the point spread and all that kind of stuff. But
sure.
It's pretty accurate. And as I look at the variations of stats and how they match up, see now 49ers are a fine football team, just like the Eagles. I think we're a better football team, especially playing at home and being healthier than we have been.
And, Coach, one more here, because there's a game on Saturday that's got big implications for the Eagles, because the Birds can host at home in the second round if the Bears lose. Saturday, Packers at Bears. Who wins that one?
I think the Bears win. The computer says by 1.5, so it's tight. But I just think Chicago's on a roll. When a team does something like they've done for the first time, and you're going into the playoffs for the first time, the emotional charge a team has going into that collectively, offensively, defensively, special team, that's hard to overcome. I think the Bears will beat them.
And it helps when you have the most efficient running game in the NFL like the Bears do.
Yeah, which we saw here in Philly when they clobbered the Eagles with that. Hey, Coach, one more if I could sneak it in. I'm just curious. Fans get more nervous when it's the playoffs, clearly.
Right.
Does a head coach during the game, and I know you got to be dialed in and focused, but when it's the third and fourth quarter and the game hangs in the balance, do you feel more nerves than a regular season game?
I think once you're into it, you don't recognize the difference. You can't all of a sudden say in the third quarter, this is different than 2 weeks ago. We're playing a playoff game. I think mentally, and you can talk to Nick about it. I've been in a lot of playoff games, and I think once you're into them, you forget what it is. It's the game you're playing today, and you don't rank it a playoff game or the 15th game of the season. It's a football game, and your mind is it, and you don't think about toward the end. You think about the ramifications of losing. Okay.
Yeah.
But,
it just feels like a game against an awesome team.
Yeah.
Really
Good
highly
against the
competitive game.
Well, I can certainly say fans experience it differently. I mean, that's a given.
Oh, no question. Yeah. The fan interest, the media interest today in football is amazing. All created by the great league, a great product, and great players doing more spectacular things today on the field than we ever saw when I was coaching. Okay.
Yeah.
There isn't a receiver that can't make a 100 catch anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing all the different things that happen. And the offenses, for the most part, are a little more wide open. Now, the 49ers play a lot of constricted formations where they're not spread all over the field, but that presents a lot of problems for the defense, too, because now there's more field on each side of the formation, okay? And it's easier to go from one side of the field to the other side from that formation. So they do a great job of game planning. They will move the ball some, but I don't think they'll score enough points to beat our defense.